It takes 10 years to grow a tree, 100 years to grow people. We have a big dream: to create massive impact by touching the lives of millions. To facilitate a kinder, gentler, more sustainable world for all. Through mentoring. Mentoring can impact many areas of life. Parents, caregivers, entrepreneurs, youth, educators, social workers. Imagine the ripple effect if mentoring was made available to more people. How far into society can we go? The one thing we can do as humans is to share our wisdom and our hearts, to pass on our legacy, making our time on Earth count. If you are interested in mentoring or being mentored, contact us through our website, www.asiainstituteofmentoring.com. We welcome you on board this journey with us.
And we welcome everybody on Zoom and everybody in the room. Good evening. This is basically how an event is. It's a hybrid event. It's my very first hybrid event ever. My name's Anita Kapoor. I'm your host this evening, and I have to look both here and I have to look over there as well, because of so many people in the room. It's very, very exciting because I have no idea how many people are watching, but thank you so much for being with us this evening. And welcome. The Asian Institute of Mentoring, AIM, is the first organization in Asia to focus on growing mentors, bringing mentoring to the fore and promoting mentoring as a life philosophy. That tells you a little bit something about them and how different this all is. And today, they launch the AIM Resolution 21 Challenge, otherwise known as AIM 21. No, it is not the age that you need to feel, but it's actually a really, really great challenge to bring hope and optimism in the new year as we transition towards a post-pandemic world. Now, before I welcome the founder of AIM on stage, I'm going to introduce Nim Sivakumaran. He's at the back of the room. He's going to come over here. He's the head of strategic partnership here at ARC in this beautiful space. Is this not a gorgeous space, everybody? Everyone, say something. Thank you, because I can hardly hear you behind all your masks. It's so strange, but absolutely wonderful as well. It feels very mysterious. Nim, come on over here and say a few nice words of welcome. And I think you can take your mask off if I leave.
Can we?
Yes. Okay. Step into the box, sir.
I should have shaved. Hi, everyone. Welcome on behalf of Art Spaces. Welcome to One Marina Boulevard. So this is our flagship center for Singapore. So it's... Can you hear me now? Is that better? Awesome. So just a bit of an insight on Arc Spaces. We've been going for 20 years. We provide flexible workspace and meeting room solutions. So we support startups and MNCs. And then when Anita approached us, because our core pillars around well-being and productivity. So we definitely had to support the event. But enough of me. Let's go back to the event.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nim.
No problem.
So, as you can tell, because of hybrid events, we actually have no idea where we're supposed to look and where we're supposed to go, but we'll get this right. We will by the end of the evening. And it's just very interesting because I actually haven't been in a situation on stage for more than 365 days. So this is really fantastic. And it's very exciting to be here and to be able to see the audience, but to also be so close to AV. It's like, wow, fantastic. They're all just nodding at me and telling me just get on with the show. So please stay with us because we have such a fantastic program ahead of us. We have 3 different panel discussions and you're going to learn so much about everything that AIM does, and I'm such a super fan. And I'm also a really, really big fan of this next gentleman. Yen-Lu Chao is the Executive Chairman, Whole Tree Foundation Over the Rainbow, co-founder and Executive Chairman, Asia Institute of Mentoring, Executive Mentor, YSISEA, which is Young Sustainable Impact Southeast Asia, and a founder of Deep Human Movement. He's a former Apple Distinguished Technologist, serial entrepreneur, angel investor, mentor and advisor, social innovator, and a humanist. Yen-Lu devotes his time serving both society and the nation in his various capacities. He is on a life mission to help bring about a kinder, gentler, more inclusive, more just, and sustainable world. And without a doubt, he is a deep human. Yen-Lu, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Anita. You're making me blush. Where do I look? Here? It's okay. I look in here. Okay, thank you. Welcome again, everybody. Welcome. A big welcome to tonight. You know, I call this the AIM family. AIM's like a family to me. It's the community that makes up AIM. We started AIM barely 2 years ago, you know, to bring mentoring to the forefront here in Asia, to raise the and up the standard of mentors, and to bring mentoring to all aspects of society so that to impact millions of lives. You know, for those who have been mentored at some point in your life, like I have, and had benefited from the relationship of mentoring, will naturally want to pay it forward. This is the movement. I call this a movement, a ripple effect that we want to create. We envision 10,000 people mentoring forward here in Singapore and in Asia. And imagine those who get mentored, in turn mentor forward. And we do this for the next 100 years. Imagine the kind of impact that we can create for the society at large and for the community, for schools, for the workplace, for the world. And that brings me to UNICO 2020. 2020 was a very tough year for just about everybody. It was also a breakout year for AIM. Because starting in May of 2020, AIM initiated the United Against COVID-19 initiative, together with a coalition of 25 partners, and together, coalition partners, together, we brought the community together to help others in the community who are struggling, to help them to go through this challenging and difficult times. Together, we organized, I don't know, over the course of 7-8 months, we organized over 50 online masterclass webinars with more than 5,000 registrations. We organized 5 cycles of mentorship, right? Over 300 people participated, mentors and mentees, in those mentoring programs. This UNICO initiative just demonstrated the unifying power of mentoring-driven human connection, and how we can use this to live the human spirit and bring it back to who we are as humanity. That brings us out of this UNICO, emerged the 5 pillars of mentoring: leadership, entrepreneurship, career, parenting, and of course, personal well-being, which is something that's very near and dear to my heart. And personal well-being, especially mental well-being, is a foundation of everything that we do. That brings me to today. Today's official launch of AIM Resolution 21 challenge, AIM-21. With AIM-21, we want to take mentoring to the entire new level. We want to have 21 people, 2,021 people mentoring forward through simple acts of generosity, giving, kindness, and care. Again, together, we can become one again. Who we are, to bring us truly back to who we are as humanity. Can I show the video next?
The recently past year has been difficult for just about everyone. Yet, it is human nature to face the uncertainty of the future with curiosity and optimism. Never underestimate the power of dreams and the resiliency of community. The human spirit inside of all of us has an enormous capacity to find joy and radiance, and a reason to move on. It is with this spirit that we launched the Asia Institute of Mentoring, Resolution 21 Challenge. Our goal is to have 2,021 people mentoring forward, this year in 2021, through acts of generosity, caring and kindness. And we are calling on you to take the time to look out for and mentor someone towards a better outcome. In any area where you can contribute and make an impactful difference. The potential for creating a greater good lives within each of us, and it is not measured by the size of the act, but by the size of the heart. Join us as we bring about a kinder, gentler, more inclusive, just, and sustainable world for all. Join our Resolution 21 Challenge. To find out more, please visit asiainstituteofmentoring.com.
Okay, yes. Video number 2. Yes, okay. Video number 2. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, so next we want to introduce Sir John, right? Yeah. We call him Sir John or John Biddleston. Yeah, can I have the next, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you, great. Okay. His formal title is Lord John Biddleston. We call him Sir John. He's one of my mentors, and he's also the founder, mentor, and executive chairman of Terrific Mentoring International. He's also happened to be the honorary member and the only honorary member of AIM. And he's also 88 years old and very, very active, including active in mentoring. He's one of my heroes. Today, John will address us, not live, but through a video that he's recorded, especially for us for this event, Mentoring 21.
Hi there, I'm John Biddleston of Terrific Mentors International. I have particular interest in his 5 pillars of mentoring: leadership, entrepreneurship, career resilience, parenting, and personal well-being. They're all very important. Do you know what personal well-being means? Well, it really means confidence. It really means being content with yourself, not self-satisfied, not overconfident, of course, that's worse, but being content with yourself, able to handle other people and help them on their way in the safe and secure knowledge that you won't do everything right, you will get things wrong. You are a human being and you're dealing with other human beings. Let me talk about my experience of mentoring. It started a long, long time ago. I spent my school holidays on farms. Now, this is where I was lucky, because what I did was I met the farm hands, the old men, at least I thought they were old men then, who helped to do the farm work. And they all taught me various things. They had great philosophies. I learned all my philosophy from the farm hands with whom I worked. I tell you a story about one of them, which was quite an interesting one. One day I was out with the farmhand. I was now about 13 years old. This was towards the end of World War II. And the farmhand said to me, you plough this field. Now, we didn't have tractors in those days. We had horses. And he handed over the horse's reins and the handles of the plough to me and started me off. And he stopped me after 20 yards. He said, no, that's not how we do it at all. He said, look, you have a beautiful pair of Shire horses here. They do all the work. Beautiful creatures they were, enormously big. He said, they do all the work. You've got a wonderful bit of machinery, something that turns the soil. That is the plough. That makes the field for you. You have only one job to do. Find a tree on the other side of the field. Don't take your eyes off it, and you will plough a very straight furrow. And all your other furrows will be very straight too, because they will follow that straight furrow. Now, I think that was the point at which I learned how I should set about my business of creating a life. In fact, the night after I'd had that experience, I lay awake and I thought, the tree on the other side of the field, that's not about ploughing a field, it's about a career, it's about a life. And always, all through my life, since the age of 13, I've known where my tree was on the other side of the field. What did he teach me about mentoring? He taught me that mentoring is about caring. It's about caring for everyone, not just yourself, not just your family. It's about caring for everybody. I remember a marvelous story of Mother Teresa, who, when asked how many people she'd helped, always said, one. And they said, no, you've helped thousands of people. No, she said, I helped the one in my arms. What a marvelous story of caring that is. Caring is more than, mentoring is more than caring. It's about developing. My habit is that I was taught very early on what creativity is. Creativity is the ability to perceive relationships. Now, it's very important if you're thinking about becoming a mentor to perceive relationships. What does it mean? It means you take this and you take that and you put them together. You say, how are they related to each other? Let's take a simple example. What's a glass and water? Very simple. The relationship is the glass holds the water. That's an easy one. But think about something very different, two things very far apart from each other, and try and relate them. And if you do that all your life, you will be creative. Now, what was the basis of my mentoring experiments all the way through my time? The basis of it was this. I wanted to let people do their own thing. The lesson I learned from this was that with encouragement, with some guidance, but not too much, with asking questions all the time, you can get people to do whatever you want, because they see that they're going to do what their answers are. I hope that my rather brief skirmish through my mentoring journey has been somewhat helpful to you. But let me tell you this, there is no more rewarding work that I have done in my lifetime than being somebody's mentor and coach. It is so satisfying. And I think the way in which I see it as having been most successful is that we have helped, all my team have helped people to develop. That's what really is satisfying. When people who thought their ambition was limited to being the manager of their department now realize that they could become the head of a big world organization and do massive good across the world. That is very satisfying. I'm going to say goodbye now because you want to get on with your program, but I will say one last thing to you. 𝘾𝙖𝙧𝙀𝙗.
Thank you. That was great timing. Fantastic, fantastic video. 𝘾𝙧, thank you so much for introducing Sir John to us. He is the founder, mentor, and executive chairman of Terrific Mentors. He's a terrific mentor, but I have one question for AIM. When I get to 88, do I also have honorary membership? Is that how it works? Okay, he's completely mum. He's not saying anything. I mean, maybe I need to get to 88 first. I'm very, very happy to actually now introduce our very first panel, and sit tight as I introduce each and every one of them. You know, so John talked a lot about, and so did you, Yendu, about the enormous capacity and human spirit. And of course, we want to hear from the people who have been through the mentoring program to talk about how that really transforms you. Because what makes this mentoring program so very, very special is that it has such a concerted effort to transform the mentor. And in the same way, then, therefore, you go on to transform the mentee. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my panel, and they are going to be talking about what it was like to be part of the inaugural batch. I mean, I thought I was the inaugural batch, and now I feel like, no, I'm second best, and it's just, I don't know, it's making me feel sad. But they were the inaugural batch. They're going to come on stage, they're going to have a little chat, and so that you can understand a little bit about how it all went down the first time round. They are the CPM 2020 graduates. I would like to first introduce to the stage our moderator, 𝘲𝙗𝙗. He is a facilitator for the Certified Professional Mentor CPM program, and he is speaking with Gillian Tan and James Campbell Grant, both 2020 graduates. If I could please invite you to the stage.
Hello, everyone. We're told that we have to hold this mic so that people at home can hear. The people in the room, can you hear us? Okay, thanks. So it's my first hybrid event too. So it's been very exciting watching how all this go through. And so this is what you get with AIM. You get to do things the first time all the time. I'm very glad to be here to talk to Gillian and James. And I've been facilitating for the 2 CPM program, the last one in the current batch. And I've seen how the program go through, but let's hear it from the people that have been through it. So maybe as a start, I know both of you are professional certified coaches. So what got you to want to get into mentoring? And maybe if I could follow that on, and when you choose to do mentoring, what got you to be attracted to AIM and to join us in the CPM program? Maybe we go with Gillian first.
Okay, thank you everyone and good evening. Exciting hybrid session. It's my first time too. It's been very honorable to be invited here to share as the first batch of CPM student. First, I just felt so blessed that I have many mentors in my life. And today I still connect with my mentors of 75 years old on a daily basis through WhatsApp. So I felt that the love, the care that he have given me, I like to pay it forward. And what is interesting for me is to know that, you know, I started my mentoring in a very informal, non-structured. It's just like, oh, how do you find a mentor? He just appear. He's like an angel to me. So, you know, when I hear that AIM is providing a structured mentoring program, I say, can someone be certified as mentor? I say, let's try, you know. So I came with a lot of curiosity, you know, how AIM is going to make me a certified professional mentor, you know. So what's in store, and what's the difference between my current mentoring with that certified program? So that is how I was attracted to AIM.
Thanks, Gillian. For me, the initial reasons were purely selfish. I saw going into the mentoring space as an opportunity to continue my self-development, to continue my passion for coaching. I saw this as a great avenue to expand that. And by doing this, I saw the mentoring communities as a further network, and as importantly, an opportunity to meet people and learn from these people as part of my self-learning journey. And that transpired into the main reason why I stay in the mentoring is because I truly love the passion, I love meeting people, and I love seeing the success. What attracted me to CPM, apart from my cute classmate here, is was I saw AIM as an opportunity to go into a space that I'd never been before, which is basically out into the communities, and Yen Liu in his passion for the youth. That was also an attraction. It was a new area for me. And so I signed up for the CPM, and it was truly one of the best decisions I made. So.
Good. I was in the batch that you were in, and I seen us go through some good times, fun time, and although there's a lot of work. So maybe you could just describe to us one particular incident or something that had made an impact on you during the program. Would you like to share?
I can continue. So, I mean, for me, it was 4 full days, and I truly look forward to being there. The camaraderie, we have one of our colleagues out there. The camaraderie, the support was fantastic. The food was good as well. So,
during the 4 days intensive 4 days course, you know, I think that it was not a downloading program, and I think my takeaway was because we are not young student, right? We came with a lot of experience and we already some pre-knowledge of what mentoring is. So I found that the very interactive discussion of discovery and how, you know, we see mentoring is. So we discuss a lot of like what the do and don'ts, you know, what happened if mentee, you know, had some issue, you know. So we had very interactive discussion and sharing of, you know, what can be done. So I thought that my biggest takeaway is, you know, the collective discussion of, you know, doing alone, you know, what I view as how mentoring should be based on my experience and based on my knowledge and based on what I know. So in the collective 4 days intensive course, I think I've took away a lot of golden nuggets from my classmates, you know, and of course with the facilitators, you know, their framework. And I think what's interesting for me is, you know, when I do coaching, they need to do journaling, but I didn't know that, you know, for mentoring, the structured program is after each session, they have to journal. I have to journal as well. And it's a digital journal. So I say, okay, something new I have to learn, right? We are all in a digital age and digital world. So that is something different. And I thought that, you know, could structured mentoring program from CPN stifle our discussion, and how do I get my mentee to do this? You know, is it too much to ask or too much of a hassle? But at the end of the day, we have a practicum, and 4 of my mentees, you know, they followed that program, and I was very grateful, and they really appreciated the documentation as a gift for each other. So I thank CPM for that.
Thank you. So I also did some mentoring following this practicum, and the journaling does help, especially towards the end of the relationship with my mentee. The ability to go back and go through what we have wrote and what we have gone through, that help us to appreciate each other. As much as the mentee benefited from the mentor, it is also a learning journey for the mentor. And maybe tell us a bit about, you have completed and you had your graduation, I think last last year, August, sometime.
Sometime.
Yeah, sometime there. And I'm sure after the program, you continue your journey on mentoring. So maybe you could share with us how has going through the CPM benefited you as a mentor, and how has being part of the AIM community help you in your mentoring journey? How has that been helpful?
Well, for me, the CPM program was the start, and I was very fortunate to keep going. Got involved with you. I got involved with Lita, Dilip, obviously with Yen Lu, in widening not only the experience but the experience of CPM, and I think the ongoing support for each other, and Gillian's already touched on some of the aspects, has been incredible. And I think moving forward, the mentors have got together to support each other, which is unique because it's non-competitive, but we all sense we're looking for communal success. And I think that's been very important. And I've carried that through to other aspects of my life. So as I said, it was the best decision I made. And I'm very grateful to be an integral or a part of AIM. And I look forward to continuing.
Well, I think that is the power of connections. I was just sharing with Yen Lu that through CPM, I was able to get connected, through Junior Achievers, which I'm actually voluntarily teaching ITE on some entrepreneur course. And never did I know that, the director of JA, which my son also knew because my son was in the competition. So I quickly texted Yen Lu and say, oh, that's really the power of connection. And I think, in a CPM, you never know how the network will actually bring you further, to actually expand your passion, beyond mentoring. So I think this is one of the benefit and takeaway. And I also introduced my coachee into CPM to become either a mentee or mentor, to continue expand this journey and to fulfill the vision that AIM has. So I think it is a very meaningful journey that I've embarked and taken on, and very grateful. Thank you.
Mentoring for some of us is quite lonely journey because we do it ourselves. It's one-to-one with our mentee. But with AIM, we have the opportunity to be part of a community and to learn and share from each other. So I'm on the same peer mentoring group as James. We meet regularly. We share our mentoring challenges, sometimes our frustration with our mentee, sometimes the joy of our mentee. So that helped us in our continuous learning journey. So with that, I'd like to thank James, Gillian. It's been a pleasure being here. So thank you.
Thank you.
A very big thank you once again to our great panel. And what do you mean problems with mentees? I was under the impression that this was a foolproof course. That was a really fantastic discussion. And if you've just joined us, welcome. We're just midway through. If you're on a Zoom, of course, in the room, if you've been sleeping so far, welcome also. I can't understand how you might be sleeping. There's only 27 of you. And welcome once again to the AIM Resolution 21 Challenge launch. We have our next panel discussion up, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Yen Lu, who is actually going to be the moderator of this panel. And I just want to say that James and Hock Lai are actually two people who are in my batch, holding the room together with Lita, who is our wonderful facilitator. A big round of applause, please, because without that, we probably would all be like the problem children, I feel. And they hold the room and the space so beautifully. If you're thinking of taking on any type of mentorship course, I mean, I think this might be the only one actually, take this course. It's amazing. It really has actually changed the way I look at it. I never even assumed that I could be a mentor, but when you actually take a course like this, it's really so much of heart-driven facilitation in somebody else's life and the vice versa into your life. And I've really felt the impact. And I think it's so remarkable to sit there on Zoom. We didn't have any food, Yen-Lu. Of course, the 2021 batch does not have any food to talk about like the 2020 batch. It's going to be an ongoing joke for me. But it's very nice to be able to sit there and see the transformation happen in a really short space of time. So that's my little feeling towards this wonderful course. Yen-Lu, over to you.
Thank you. Payne, can I ask you to come up? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, please. You all have a microphone, is it? Very wonderful. So let me just say a word about Gillian and James talk about the power of human connection. We also call it the community. And now, sorry. Thank you. Safe? Is it safe? Okay. And of course, now with the 5 pillars of mentoring that we've been talking about, which are leadership, entrepreneurship, career resilience, parenting, and personal well-being. The reason we're having these pillars is that we want to create the communities around these pillars, what we call villages, right? Where we can get like-minded people peers to support each other on this mentoring journey. We started on this journey already late last year and we're continuing this year. We want to build this up. Entrepreneurship is one of the key pillars. And there's no, I think, 2 people that I know better than the 2 gentlemen that I have in front of them. Do you know how hard it is to just get them together? Forget about together. Individually is hard. You know, we try to meet up with one of them, and it takes months to plan, and then be able to get 2 of them together for this panel is just amazing. I feel very, very blessed. Of course, we all know entrepreneurship. Mentoring is important in many, many areas. We talked about that already. But I think there's nowhere that's more important than entrepreneurship, simply because on this journey, and we all been through it multiple times, right? First of all, the risk is very high. For those of us, how many entrepreneurs are there out there? Lots. The risk is very high, and the chance for success, a positive outcome, is very uncertain, highly uncertain. If you can get a good mentor who's been there and done that, it's worth gold. And we have, I think today we have probably two of the most well-known entrepreneurs that I know in Singapore, maybe even the region, right? And I'm gonna just ask them. I mean, I'm not gonna, of course, just Steve, of course, you know him as the co-founder of PropertyGuru, right? Also now in what you call impact investor, and Payne. You know, I remember I know Steve for like 15 years, Payne for like 20 years, something like that, is it? But who's counting? Who's counting? And I remember I was barely surviving. I remember in 2000, I was barely surviving the internet 1.0 .com crash. This guy was thriving. Okay, he had multiple startups and multiple IPOs. Truly impressive, truly impressive. So I'm gonna just start with, maybe just tell us about yourself. What motivated, I mean, you've been on this journey for a while. So tell us a bit about what got you started. Yeah? Whoever. You want to go first? Yes.
Yeah. I think mine was probably genetics. My dad's an entrepreneur, and I think the one thing I learned from him, I learned a lot of things from him, but one thing I learned from him is you can't always put food on the table. So don't worry, go do what you want to do something meaningful. And I think that attitude came into my life very young, and I was very fortunate in that sense. Yeah. And I've always, I think Sir John was saying about this tree. Yeah, I'm something like that. I always had that tree there. Okay, I go to that tree. Once I got to that tree, let's figure out another tree. So yeah, I was fortunate. I think I stumbled upon this meme very young, probably because of my dad. So that's how I got into all this.
very, very. I think it's a good story. Yeah, the father and son thing. Steve?
Yeah, I don't think mine was genetics. Definitely not genetics from a education point of view. I did terrible at school. My father was in the army. We moved around every couple of years, and I remember coming home when I was about 7 and finding my mum crying. And she'd been called to school, and she was told that Steve is going to be a failure in life, and she wasn't far wrong, or they weren't far wrong. I got my 3 Ds at A level, and just managed to scrape through on those. But I think what that did to me was it gave me a bit of a kick to go out and prove them wrong, and I had that mentality thereafter, which was I need to prove them wrong. And so that's an early catalyst, I think, in terms of the drive to prove them wrong and to prove I could do it. And I spent the first 10 years of my life in a corporate environment, but very much building businesses within a corporate. And then a mentor, which was a careers counselor. And I spent a few weeks with that careers counselor and basically showed him this word. Based on your expertise and what you've been doing for the last 10 years, you are an entrepreneur. And I hadn't really heard that, or really kind of resonated with that. And that kind of set me on the path of doing my own thing and building my own businesses.
Fantastic, thank you. So role model, this case being your father is your role model, in Peng's case, and Steve's case is early failures academically. We have lots of examples of that, actually. People that have done well early in their life in academics actually turn out to make great entrepreneurs, because they want to prove to the world, right, that they can succeed, right, on their own terms, in their own way, not what somebody else defined them to be. Thank you, very impressive, guys. Okay, now going to the next topic. Tell us a bit about your proudest moment as an entrepreneur. Obviously, talk about successes here. Right? And maybe with that, also maybe also some of your things that you hope you had done differently. Maybe some failures. We love to talk about successes, but we don't talk about failures enough, I think. So you can share a bit about your journey. I mean, for both of you, it's been 15, 20 years as an entrepreneur. I'm sure there's a lot of lessons we all can learn from both of you.
I think one of the things I'm most proud about, one of my successes in life, I think, would be having kids, actually, which I played a very, 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 very small part in that startup. But my wife played a very, very big part in that startup, which was a whole bunch of fertility treatment and going through, the hell here, and then also in London and the US. And I just turned up with a test tube and a bit of moral support. But I think it's probably the proudest moment from a personal point of view. From a business point of view, obviously, not obviously, but building PropertyGuru from 2 people with an idea, trying to change, I guess, an industry, and trying to improve an industry, and trying to improve how people find real estate when the whole of the behavior was offline. It was in the newspapers, the property agents, the consumers, the real estate developers. Everyone was in the newspapers, and thick newspapers, and doing that through sheer grit, determination, but with lots of support and mentoring support, including from Peng in the really, really tough years as well. So that's what I'm most proud about in terms of I guess failures or lessons or key learnings. I think one of the key mistakes or key challenges for me from a business point of view was again that scaling from one country to multiple countries in four months, and stretching an organization to close to breaking point, and not having an organization ready to do that. And I thought we had to run, but I didn't actually now know things just take time. You plant the acorns and the trees grow slowly, but I was a bit paranoid that we would lose the opportunity, and so I felt that we had to run. And through that process, made lots of mistakes. And I guess there are no rule books. You make the rules up as you go along, but still, pushed the whole organization and the people, which ultimately is the organization, to breaking point. And that was a failure on my part and my co-founder's part. And we made a lot of mistakes, and we hired 250 people, we lost 250 people. We launched new services which didn't work. The morale plummeted, the innovation plummeted, and we went through a very, very dark period for about 2 years of trying to fix the mess that we created. And it was in that time that, thankfully, had some help from my colleague on the right here to help with some of those issues. So that helped enormously.
Great, thank you. Great lessons. Peng?
Yeah. I actually can probably narrow down the time where I realized what effect I had starting a company down to a few hours. Around our IPO of Interwoven, which is I think my second company, we decided to fly everyone in from the around the country, which into California, and we had this event at the airport museum in San Carlos. It's still there, and we didn't just fly the employee, we flew their spouse in also. And we had this big room full of, I think, hundreds of people. And so I was like busy saying hi to everyone. And then what I realized as the evening progressed was, one by one, the spouse would come up to me and they'll say, "Thank you, you changed my life because, we paid off our house, or, our kids can now, college funds done, one by one. I mean, it's literally dozens of folks saying that to me. Then you start to realize, oh, it's not that great product you build. It's not that business, that $1 million contract you close, but it's all these little lives that have just been pushed a little bit in the right direction, that you realize, oh, that's why it's meaningful. This is why you do this, right? And that's when I realized it's not some big ideas. It's the people that follow you through the journey that you build the closest relationships with, and you get the most meaning out of as you go through this journey. So that was I don't know, pride is the right term I'll use, but it's the most aha. I realized this is why I'm doing this. Moment. So that's on the high note kind of thing. If you know me well enough, and you guys do, I'm kind of philosophical about it, right? And you asked me about failures, but the way I look at it, life's just a series of successes and failures. If you do startup, this is absolutely clear to you. You're gonna lose a deal one day and win 2 deals, and it goes up and down, right? And if you're fortunate enough, it just goes up more than it comes down, and you go public at some point and you keep going, right? Not everyone gets that, right? So I tend to get philosophical about it. Yeah, you're gonna screw up. Yep. And then, yep, you're going to do the right things. And just because I happen to have a few more successes than failures, and I managed to get a good exit for my company, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the smartest person. I just got a bit luckier, and maybe because I worked harder, I got a bit luckier, but I got a bit luckier, right? And don't take yourself too seriously when that happens.
Very profound. Yeah, that was good, wise words. Let me follow you with next question, Peng. Steve talked about how during the darkest times that he was able, that he met you, and then you help him through some of those darkest times as a mentor. How about you? You talked about through your IPOs, you found that you're actually impacting a lot of people, right? The fact that in terms of the financial security for a lot of them. Right. So how about for your own journey? Are there people that you consider that who to be your mentors, or who are someone who's kind of has nudged you in the right direction at the right time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, who has helped you and maybe help you even become the success that you've achieved to date? Yeah.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about this business that we're in, which is tech startups, entrepreneurship, is that it's a very intense activity, and as a result, you cannot do this without being in some way mentored or menteed or coached or being a coach or being an advisor. There's no way you can do this without all those components, right? So you're learning from someone, you're teaching other people, it's life, but amplified, in a very intense environment. And so, for example, for myself, I'm a geek, I'm an engineer, so I know how to build stuff and all that. But when I built my company, we had to sell stuff, right? I had no clue how to sell stuff. So I specifically seeked out a network of expert specific salespeople, CEOs, and to this day, we're good friends. Steve Humphreys, or another Steve Humphreys. He built. He was one of the youngest general manager at GE. Then he went to business school. I met him through my previous co-founder through business school, and he helped me. He sat me down and talked me through, this is how you build a sales organization, etc. And without him, there would have been no IPO to talk about, right? He also seed funded me, so so that's what advisors do. They seed fund and they advise, and a whole bunch of things, and you do that later on in your career.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's Steve. Do you want to share a bit more? Besides, I'm sure there are others. I mean, it doesn't have to be just doesn't have to be business. It could be other aspects of life, right? That people have impacted us in some ways. I like to talk about my mom a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
she just passed away, but she was one that impacted my life. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about your mum. By the way, my mum passed away a few years ago as well, and she was a mentor from an early age. And I think the key thing for me, so I guess when I started thinking about this, I was thinking about, well, is there one single mentor who's kind of guided me throughout my life? And that hasn't been the case, but there's been a few individuals or people who have supported in different ways. And so the foundation for me around setting core values around generosity and respect for everyone, my mum set that in stone. And that's kind of what I bring through my life and what I do from a business point of view, but also parenting and with my family. I had an amazing manager when I was in my corporate environment who gave me the freedom, the support to be able to go and fly, gave me cover from the bureaucracy in the corporate, and really supported the foundation for me to go into entrepreneurship and running teams. And then my wife also, but entrepreneur organization. I belong to an entrepreneur organization, and I meet with the same 8 people for 4 hours once a month for the last 10 years. And these, when I was first introduced to these 8 people, I thought, what am I going to learn from them? They come from, they don't know anything about tech. As a print person, as a stainless steel person, I thought I'm not going to learn anything, but actually I've learned an enormous amount. And that support, the mentoring throughout the last 10 years, ongoing for business, personal, and family, has really, really helped me.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think what I take away from this sharing is that if we look back, we don't always know it at the time, but sometimes we look back, we're able to connect the dots. We'll look at it I understand it more and more now. Is okay now? Okay, they want us to speak louder. That there's so many people. We call it the village here. But there's so many people that contribute to our success, no matter how we define success. There's so many people, that from the very little things to the big things, that really, we like to celebrate heroes and heroism and individualism, but the reality is that success takes the whole village. And I think and that's what I hear from the two of you as well. Starting from our parents many times, those who are our first role models, all the way to our mentors, our advisors, even our spouses, sometimes even our children. I like to say, the children is our greatest teacher. They can teach us a lot of things. Yeah. Great. Okay. Next, how much time do we have? 5 more minutes? Okay. So I have...
It feels like we're in a library. It's so quiet here.
I know.
That's why we're whispering, not talking loudly.
By the way, just for a break, anybody has any questions from the audience that would like to have burning question like to ask either Steve or Peng? Just a quick one. Then I'm going to go into the final 1 or 2 questions. You can speak to them afterwards as well. No worries if you don't have a question right now. Okay.
Next question.
Next question.
I'm a VC, so we look at deals. We had the most number of deals per year ever last year, right? Because I think this pandemic pushes people to think about life and meaning and making a difference, right? We had 1,500 business proposals sent to us last year. That's higher than any deal year we've had by far. We've been around 6 years or so. So that's the good news. I mean, there's literally thousands of people trying to figure out how to make this place a more efficient, better, place. So I think I'm very energized by that.
Yeah, I would agree with Peng. Last year there was deal flow, apart from perhaps a couple of months where it went very quiet, was very busy. But fundamentally, I think 90% of the companies I was working with last year struggled in some way. So everyone talks about digitization and all these opportunities, and for sure that is the case. But even if you're in that space, things went on hold. Funding process stopped for a couple of months. In some cases, you saw revenue go down to 0 for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, and therefore cash runways went from 18 months down to 1 or 2 months. It was very, very, very stressful. I think, COVID was tough for a lot of people, but, I think if you're an entrepreneur running an early stage business or actually a slightly later stage business, we have a lot of cost. You were under an enormous amount of stress, and but the positive is that these businesses that come out the other end and survived are well on track to do what they should have done in 2020, in 2021, and probably come out stronger actually. So similar to Peng, I'm very, very optimistic about the startup scene and tech scene in Southeast Asia. I think it's really, really exciting.
Yeah, and we have a whole bunch of war-trained veterans now, right? CEOs that are survivors. Even if they don't survive, they have a lot of experience, going through this.
Battle scars. Excellent. You talk about the VC part of your of course, Peng, you have Monk Hill Ventures that you started. Monk Hill Venture that you started 6 years ago. And Steve, I know you're active in the sustainability space, right? So, and both of you are also very active in the startup space in terms of helping other entrepreneurs. Can you tell us a bit about that? Why did you decide to come back? You were very successful as an entrepreneur. Why did you decide to come back and kind of, be either an advisor or a mentor, or in this case, a VC to other entrepreneurs? What motivated you to do that?
Laziness. Doing a startup is really, really hard. After you do 2 or 3 of them, you go, do I want to do more? And if not, then how can I contribute at some significant level and still make a difference, right? My motto in life has always been make a difference, right? Whether it's a small and big one, make a difference. Otherwise, don't bother, right? And I think that the VC world is one where you can really help people out, right? You don't. It's not just money. Money helps, but I think the memes you have. I talk about memes. Your a particular way of looking at things sometimes just changes how a business is built. So I'll give you an example just to make it concrete, right? You're trying to, I was talking to this tour company, they're trying to package deals, so you got interesting experiences. And after an hour of talking to the entrepreneur, I think it finally dawned on him that he's not just trying to sell you a tour. He's trying to sell you unforgettable moments, right? And in fact, not sell you, help you create unforgettable moments. The moments that you and your daughter go through, and 20 years from now, they're talking about it. So at that point, he started to realize this is way beyond package tours, right? And I'm sure he's working on his business plan now to figure out how to build the business differently. So it's just a perspective, just twisting the perspective a little bit, and suddenly you realize the world opens up. So I just love challenging people on those fronts, and you can do that. You sort of get paid to do that as a VC. So that's why I'm a VC. And our industry, we actually change the emerging markets, especially a tremendous amount. I moved to Jakarta in 2014, and if you look at 2014 and now, it's just a different place. Tech has just changed how things work in general, and it's making a difference.
Thank you. Making a difference. Fantastic. Steve, I know you're big in sustainability now.
Yeah. So, well, I guess in terms of helping startups, I've been investing in and mentoring startups for the last 17 or 18 years. I took a little bit of a break during PropertyGuru times, but before that and also after that, I guess that's what I've been doing. And for the last 2 or 3 years, the focus has very much shifted to sustainability. So primary focus on climate change and secondary focus on the social inequality. And the reasons for that is, just want to make the world a better place for my kids and their kids. And I just got very, very worried by what I was seeing in the run up to sort of 2018, record after record after record being broken, and seeing how the impact of climate change is going to impact everybody. But particularly people at the bottom of the pyramid, and the people on the poverty line are going to be the ones going to be most impacted, but probably contributed least so far, at least, to climate change. And so that became my number one priority. But over and above that, I have a soft spot for founders. So a founder comes to me and asks for help, I really, really struggle to say no. I just can't say no to them, unfortunately, which sometimes means I get overstretched. But I want to be able to help, and the reason why is because having built 3 startups and worked with, I have 26 companies I've invested in personally, but also through the VC I'm helping, Wavemaker. I just see the daily grind and tough environment that founders have to go through on a day-to-day basis, and the highs and lows in a single day or a single week. It's mentally and physically challenging, and it requires this enormous amount of patience, energy, grit, determination, and blind, defiant optimism that you're going to achieve everything. And that is impossible to continue forever. And I know that I could not have done what I did without a whole bunch of support and help from a whole bunch of different people at different times. And I want to be able to pay that forward and pay that back, and try and help people, at least share my experiences, and hopefully from that people can take what they can, and hopefully will benefit from that. So yeah.
Thank you, Steve. I kind of resonated with what you just said as well, and what Peng just said about having been an entrepreneur. I mean, all 3 of us were entrepreneurs and still are in many ways. And now we all turn investors. I've been doing angel investing, as you know. We've done some projects together for more than 15 years now. And we all have a soft spot for founders, because we just simply know is how hard the journey is, and how much help they need, what the odds are, and how much help they need. So I feel very much the same way. Okay, 2 minutes left. One last question. There's a lot of wisdom here between the 2 of them. Just give your best 1 or 2 takeaways for a startup founder or an aspiring entrepreneur. You said a lot of things already, right? But give your best 1 or 2 takeaways for them. What would you tell them?
Yeah, so for me, probably 3 things. Firstly, focus on the problem. Find a big problem and focus on that, and just stay focused on that, and just continue to stay focused on solving that one problem. And in my case, I guess, in my humble opinion, the biggest problems today are climate change and social inequality. And so good place to start would be that, in my humble opinion. The second area would be it's a marathon and not a sprint. I think, you know, having worked in my own startups, but also with others, things just take time. And the businesses you see today, which are successful, that look like they've appeared overnight, have been around for 10, 20, sometimes 30 years before they get to where they are. And not trying to rush things, but just doing things in a paced, measured way. And then the third thing is to seek out help and continue to learn. You know, the founders I see that I don't work with on a long-term basis are the ones where I feel they know everything already, and you know, aren't open to some constructive discussion on where things could go. But I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but having a debate about it. So yeah.
Great advice, Peng.
Yeah, I have what I'm about to say is probably somewhat of a summary or generalization of what Steve just said. If there's one word to keep in front of you all the time as you're building a company, is clarity. I find just clarity from just high level. Why the heck are you doing this? Right? Some people are in the middle of a startup and you ask them, why are you doing this? And then they don't know because they haven't thought about it, right? To how is this, you know, $100 you spend on this campaign going to convert to you know, $1,000 worth of revenue? So, you know, that detail of clarity up to the whys, right? All through the organization. Very, very clear thinking about every single thing you're doing. And if you're not clear, just pause, just sit down and get to that clarity. Sometimes it's slowing down so that you can go even faster. That's the word, you know, I had all through my startup career, I had this Nike thing. I sought out Nike and it just says, just do it. But I'll change that slightly now. Just do it with clarity.
Great, thank you. So clarity, know your why you're doing this, why you're you know, logging through this day in, day out. That the journey is like it's a marathon, right? Even a relay. Sometimes I call it a relay. At different stage, you have a different right. It's a different part of the journey, and always seeking out learning, right? To learn, to continuous learn, and to grow from that experience. Very important. To seek out advisors, mentors, and the like. Great. Anything else? I think we'll come to the end of the time, and I think I also have finished all my questions. Perfect timing. Let's give them a big round of applause. Steve and Peng, thank you.
And thank you very much to our wonderful panel. I have learned a lot from you guys today. And as they slip their masks back on and leave the stage, I want to do just a little wrap up. These are the things that I learned, and I think the whole room would have learned this as well. First of all, thank you so much, Yan Lu, and Steve and Peng. Steve has all the answers. Peng has the seed fund. Okay, got it. All right, now I know who to go to. All right, there we go. But these are the takeaways that I got from this fantastic panel. What can you do for someone and for the world? Don't take yourself too seriously. Dark times and crisis bring great learning, and being supported is a phenomenal assistance. Without our mums, literally none of us would exist. People care and people learn. And I also loved defiant optimism. That is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever heard. But also take your time and seek clarity. So a big round of applause once again for our fabulous panel. And if you've just joined us on Zoom, you're late. But I hope that you've been having a really great time listening to us. We have just one final panel, and guess who gets to moderate it? Me! So, without further ado, I would like to introduce this particular final segment. And it's all about celebrating success. And we're going to talk a little bit about 𝑘𝐿 and some mentoring stories from my wonderful panel. Just to let you know what 𝑘𝐿 actually is, the United Against COVID-19 initiative was launched in May 2020, in the height of 2020 last year, when AIM mobilized members of the community to step up and help each other. I think that's exactly what we all really wanted and needed. And this was about helping each other as we were going through a difficult and challenging time. And everybody was at so many different levels and for so many different reasons. And under UNICOV, we've organized 50 plus online events with a total of nearly 5,000 registered attendees, as you heard Yendu say at the very beginning, 5 cycles of mentorship programs with 150 successful mentoring engagements. And that was just what, 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago? That's it. That's absolutely fantastic. And the community has grown to 2,500 people strong. The UNICOV initiative demonstrated the unifying power of mentoring-driven human connections and care for the human spirit. That is why I love this program so much. At the same time, underscoring and providing that it is in giving that we receive. And I would like to receive my fabulous panel on stage, please. Suresh, Karen, and Athena, our mentors and a mentee of the UNICOV program. And if I could please invite them to join me on stage, if you give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And I get to sit here like as if I'm at the bar. And you guys, I'm about to sing or maybe start a karaoke thing for you. Good. See, they remember to take their masks off. Look at you guys. Such old hands. So are we all okay? Am I in the right position here? You're the mentors. That's it. Yeah, I'm obviously the mentee, clearly. It's really nice to have you guys up here. Before anything else, have you been enjoying the interactions that you've noticed on stage? Suresh, Karen? Yes. Yeah?
It's been fantastic.
We need you guys to pick up your microphones. Yes.
It's been fantastic. I did pick up the microphone, but it was just like
yes, please hold it clear. You know, it's kind of an interesting situation and an interesting dynamic to not be able to actually hear yourself, but everybody on Zoom can hear you loud and clear. So please hold that close.
Yeah, it's been really wonderful. And you started off with such a powerful introduction.
Oh, thank you, Suresh.
I have to say that.
Yeah, so okay, I'll pay you later, man.
and then everything flowed through very well, and especially the last segment on the panel. It was such a fantastic thing. I heard about clarity. I heard about it's a marathon, not a sprint. Kind of all the dots are getting connected.
Yeah,
say that.
we've got to hear all of these things as we go along, right? Because I mean, it is, if you want to be in the position to help somebody or help this world, we need that encouragement as we go along. Right. And it's nice to hear it in this room today. Thank you. Karen?
Today's session is excellent. So I learned a lot from Steve, and the panel talk about entrepreneurship. So being one and only business, like these guys are masters with so many business. I learned a lot. And I heard all the CPM graduates love all the feedbacks. In fact, I have not attended my CPM. So, and I'm really looking forward now.
When's the next intake, guys?
I think it's next quarter, maybe.
All right. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you guys a little bit of information about your experience. And I know that Karen and Suresh are mentors, and Athena, you were a mentee. Yes? Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to begin with asking you, Suresh, what made the program successful in your opinion, as we saw 5 waves in a single year with over 150 mentoring relationships?
I would say the mentees made the program successful. The first and foremost, before me calling myself as a mentor, I'm a mentee. And I was introduced mentoring without me knowing the word mentoring about 28 years back. And that particular mentor was the reason why I am here, sitting here, talking, even became part of AIM family. So the big success for this whole program is about bringing that value that people were looking for and making that clarity, not telling them what to do, but making them realize what is needed for them. And it's more about the change is brought together with respect to two-way communication. Me as a mentor learning, and in the process of me learning, I'm also giving back to the mentees. And this cycle continues.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward for the mentees to pay forward and become mentors as part of AIM community.
Yeah,
soon to be.
I like what you said actually, because I think this is a very cyclical process, and it's a very giving and receiving process. You're a mentor, you're a mentee. The mentee becomes a mentor in certain ways, and you become the mentee. And I think that's the graciousness of this program, because for me, I have to say, when I've heard the word mentor, it's always been one of these things that felt like the mentor was like there. But what this program literally aims to do, I'll never get tired of saying aim. Is really put everybody on a very level playing field, and it's in that giving and receiving, I think, that you gain so much as well. Karen, for you, finding a mentee in the entrepreneurship area shouldn't really be too difficult. So why did you actually choose to join AIM?
Okay, so I have two reasons for that. One is I believe in AIM's mission to create a mentorship ecosystem to move people forward and to get them to give forward to impact society. So that's really a great mission, and I love that. And I believe that this is a very powerful force that is going to impact our community, our family. And so this is the reason why I choose to join them. And in fact, so I signed up not just being a mentor for entrepreneurship, I signed up as a mentee as well to receive training on digital marketing. So yeah, in fact, it's also the reason why I joined them last year to support operation and marketing. And we're still recruiting for AIM.
Fantastic. You know, it's almost like the word mentorship, it's almost superfluous in a sense. It's really actually energy exchange. And I think that's what the direction in which the world is actually going. It's about really exchanging the skills that we have, and none of us have all the same skills. And so therefore, that's how you level all this playing field and you remove all the hierarchical structures. I want to ask you, Athena, so you were Karen's mentee, is that correct?
That's right.
Yes, okay. I want to tell you, Karen and I, we actually go back years, like maybe 20 years.
Yeah, the party days.
The party days, before Karen turned into a powerhouse herself.
I can't imagine her partying.
Yeah. It was fun times. It was very, very good times. So it's really, really very special for me to actually sit here and be able to interview her. It's a very proud moment, Karen. Very, very nice. Athena, why did you actually participate in the program?
So I had founded my startup early last year. And so after we had launched, then COVID-19 became a very big thing. And so it was really the best and worst of times for us. It was just something that was really unexpected. We had built our entire business plan without this pandemic in mind, right? And so it was just not what I expected. And we were constantly trying to change our direction. We were doing a lot to make sure that we're catching up with different environmental factors. But what I was finding is that, personally, I was going through this journey that was really idiosyncratic. I didn't really have anyone to talk to. And so I started looking for resources outside of my immediate circle. And that's how I came across this program. And I thought it was really interesting, but I had no idea what to expect. I thought it would be something that was really tactical, that I would get really concrete advice on how to run the business, on what my next steps would be, right? But the experience was actually really, really different. And it's something I really do still look back on and really do appreciate. What I found was that as a mentor, as you said, it's an exchange of energy. You have someone who is on an even playing field with you, but is there to listen without judgment. And I think that's really what I got out of it. And it was really just a very, very valuable experience for me.
So I think we can say that it's quite a holistic experience, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're actually learning to make the decisions yourself. Right?
Yeah, you're being pushed in that direction.
Yeah. So at the end of it, what was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, so I'd say that Karen was really patient with me because
you can tell us the truth.
I think a lot of times I'm just a very stubborn person, and that's also a big part of the reason why I'm an entrepreneur. Very high conviction, I'm very passionate. I think I'm always right. But when you come across times like these, you realize it's not the truth. And what Karen was able to help me do was to whittle away at a lot of the noise. So, what really is the crux of the problem right now? And one of the things I don't really pay attention to are the relationships around me, right? I'm very outcome oriented. I believe in something. I'm trying to push my vision forward. But a lot of times it takes a team to help you build. And I was actually neglecting a lot of these relationships in trying to build my business. And so I think, when it came to our relationship, it took a while to get there. I just didn't really see, what someone else could bring to me. But, Karen gave me this framework to think about, when you have a good relationship with your co-founder, when you're able to work with your team in harmony, that's when you do your best work. And when you listen to the people around you, that's when you start really seeing and getting that clarity about how to move your business forward. And I think that's really what I got out of it.
Thank you very much. Fantastic. I really appreciate your sharing, and I can see that it's had a true impact on you. Suresh, I just want to ask you if you had anything that you might want to change about a program such as this to make it even better. Would you have any suggestions?
Then
I'm just going to make one suggestion. Hold the microphone.
Before you said that.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Suresh.
I know that's the reason we are together in the CPM 2, sharing the class, right? So before Yanlu and our AIM team put this UNICODE together, I don't think they have an idea of having to run it 5 waves. It started happening 1 to 2 to ended up with 5. And the fantastic thing that happened at the background was taking quite a lot of feedback. It's not about I want to change something, but rather there have been so much of feedback that were coming back from the mentors and the mentees. And we talked about 300 odd people got engaged, 150 mentoring sessions, right? So all those feedbacks, my take from that is at least looking at the top 3 feedback that came in and look at them and bring them into the change as we go forward. Because to me, it all worked well if it is just me. But I'm looking at 299 other folks in the group, and they have their feedback. And as a team, as the AIM team, if we can look at them and bring those as just the top 3.
Yeah. Could you give us an example?
One very good feedback that was given by one of my mentees is that everything is good, but when I get started, I do not know where to go. So it was, there was a session, and we had all those handshakes. And for the mentors, we've been doing this, and we know what to do, where to go, and all those stuff. But when the mapping is done, matching is done, mentor-mentee matching, it's not that it was done purposefully. There were situations where the mentees were not very clear about what to expect. And that structure is coming up. I think Hoklai mentioned about this peer circle. I'm part of that as well. And we are exploring those.
Yeah.
I know you didn't purposefully mention that. Tough mentees. Probably someone is sitting next to me. Probably she was tough to Karen. Right? In situations, we get that. And it's not about the difficult mentee or what, but it is the situation that makes things difficult.
Sure. I think it's always interesting, when you have something new and you develop something new, if people are actually interested to give you feedback, it means that something's working and that they're actually invested in it. I know for me, just, being able to have the last few sessions that I've had in my particular batch, initially it was the same thing. And I think as human beings, we're all a little bit fearful of great change, and we have no idea, well, what's actually about to happen. But after the 2 or 3 sessions, I started to see this kind of magic happen in the room, where it suddenly started to sink into everybody what exactly we were learning in our mentorship program. And I think it was unexpected as well that so much of heart and soul talk is in it, because generally a lot of the programs that are out there are just very cerebral. And I think it's very important to bring this in, because we aren't talking about, mentoring a rock. We're actually talking about mentoring human beings, and we all have, feelings, and we have fears.
If I can add
something
more to that.
Yes, you may.
When I was coming down to this program today, I was just pinging one of my mentees from Wave 5, and I was asking her, how are things going on? She said, I was going to write to you. About what? No, a few weeks back when the program got closed, that's when I realized that, oh, the program is being closed. It didn't feel like 3 months. So what it means is that's a level of takeaway. It's just a stick. She was the one who gave this feedback, and she's the one who sees the difference.
Yeah.
And of course, when these changes start rolling into the system,
Yeah.
we're getting better and better. Probably Enlu can talk more about that, the day when it was started and what are we currently
Absolutely.
doing.
It's got to keep evolving, doesn't it? And all of these are actually relationships.
Yeah.
My final question is for you, Karen. What was your key takeaway also as a mentor?
Okay, so I have two takeaways, and one is to know when to pause. So I realized that sometimes what mentees need is not necessarily solutions. So sometimes what I need to do is to go into deep listening, listen to what is said and what is unsaid. So I remember on my third session with Athena, she is like, she already had what it takes to be a very successful entrepreneur, right? So she did the fundamental and more. So then I was like, okay, so in our session, I offer some solutions, some answers, but I asked questions and I listened to her coming up with solution, and I realized that was effective. So I think like really deep listening is very helpful as a mentor to really see what is it that she needs. Another one I think is, I think life has a lot to offer, a lot more to offer if we continue to be an apprentice, even after when we become the master, right? So the Jedi Master, even Jedi Master has a Grandmaster, right? So I say, do not stop asking for help, no matter at what level we are in, right?
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway.
That's fantastic. I mean, we can never know everything. Any last words, Athena?
I mean, I think the really the takeaway for me was that it's a really valuable program. And not only that, one of the things that I really remember is that at the end of the program, Karen still checked in with me, and she would always tell me that if you need any extra sessions, I'm always here for you. So you definitely do feel supported. You feel that, you know, a mentor isn't just a very transactional thing. You do develop a relationship, and it's someone who's always looking out for you. So like, you know, I had a LinkedIn update at some point and she messaged and she's like, hey, you know, like, good job. And you really feel like there's someone rooting for you. So I think
she got into an award. She had an award.
Tell us about your award.
It was a pitch competition for Technasia. So
the only women, right?
Yes. We were the only female-led team to win one of the top 3 places. So yeah, I mean, you know, you feel very supported. It's definitely, it feels like a family. And I think it's something that every entrepreneur should experience at some point in time.
Fantastic. And may you be one of many women-led teams. That's what we're looking forward to as well. I want to thank you guys so much for sharing your beautiful, honest, and wonderful sharing. Thank you so much, Karen, Suresh, and Athena, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Yanlu, I'm supposed to hand it over to you. Come and join me in the square. I think, Yanlu, you're going to tell everybody a little bit about the AIM information system. Yeah. Yes? I'm going to leave.
You're going to leave now?
Yeah, I'm going to. Do you want me to stand here next to you while you speak about this?
Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, great. Oh, I really like what Karen said. You know, for every master, there's a master, right? So for every Luke Skywalker, there's Yoda. For every Master Sifu, there's Master Wu Gui. So there's always someone higher. But don't think you're, you know, someone's always going to be better, right? So we can always seek mentorship from someone.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to show you now next a short video, something that's been under construction for a while now. But actually, AIM has been under construction. I call it AIM's been is always under construction, in the sense that we're always building. I like to tell my we're building the track as the train is moving, but don't try to do this at home, okay? Don't do this at home. In fact, I see the whole idea of AIM as an experiment, and people that work with AIM knows we're constantly evolving. We're taking things in new directions. We're always improving. We're working on some stuff for a little while now. I want to show you just a short video to show you a bit about where, what we've been working on and where this whole thing is going. Okay, it's a snapshot, still under construction. Video, please. Okay, so this is what we hope to see starting in March. So basically, we pretty much want to automate the entire journey from beginning to end. We embrace technology early, the first year of our existence. Last year we started taking data, right? Using data, starting capturing data, you saw on the screen, for mentors and mentees, and using that to do all sorts of things. Then we're gonna, we're using technology to automate, to facilitate the entire mentoring engagement as well. So this system that you just saw, we've been working on it for a little while now. And we want to be able to launch this hopefully March, yeah, fingers crossed. We are now on a mentor membership drive, yeah. one of the things we want to do this year, as you saw, is we want to be on a membership. So we would love for every one of you to join as a member. Some of you are members already. There's a QR code, right? This is my only sales pitch, sorry, for today. Yeah, we love, and again, the whole idea of making mentoring accessible to everyone, right? That's our mission from day one, and we want to hold that. So we're making membership with all these benefits, something that's even a student can afford. We love and get your friends to join, and there are lots of things coming, and we hope you'll benefit from a lot of these features that we're building. Yeah. Anything else? Did I miss anything? Okay. What else? Yeah. All good? All good. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much, Zhenlu. Big round of applause. We've come to the almost close, but I would like to invite on stage Patricia. She's the AIM Marketing Director. She's been one of the key people responsible for organizing what we have seen today. Please give a big round of applause to her. She'd like to come on stage and tell you a little bit more. Come on. Step into the box.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you, everybody. I hope you've all been inspired and motivated to contribute. AIM is a special place for a lot of us, and there's a lot of supporter, and we are so grateful for people who have given their time, contributed in kind also. People have been supporting us from the start. ARC has been wonderful to host us here. And there are so many people involved in AIM that are volunteer that you don't see, that are behind the scenes. And I have to thank tonight two other teams with whom this event would not have been possible. It is the audio and visual team. This is a hybrid event. This is actually double work. It's not just putting on Zoom live event. It's a professional show going on. And we're so grateful for Character and Leadership Academy and Future Ready Asia for their support. There are 7 people in the crew that made this possible. And if this is not an act of generosity, I don't know what it is, because they have been very kind to support us pro bono. So huge thank you to them. We hope we've inspired you to come and join our community. It is a very special community because everybody is bound by the same drive to give forward, to give their best, to support people. And there's a lot of experts, there's a lot of professionals, and they all recognize that it is a lifelong learning journey. People join as a mentor, but they have access to other more expert mentors. There's always somebody that you can learn from. And when you are junior or when you're mid-level, there's always somebody that you can look up to here. A lot of people that I've met here have become friends, and I would have never met in my normal walks of life. So you're not just gaining expertise and knowledge, you are also will be making a lot of friends that are very special. The last step that I would like to encourage is join us formally as a mentor, mentee, or as a member. But when you walk out of this room, do acts of kindness, generosity, support people, have people's back, and send us your stories of what you do. Little acts of mentoring, little acts of kindness. We'd love to have your stories. Tag us at hashtag AIM 2021 mentors or hashtag everyday mentoring, and we will pick up the story and feature it on our social media. We've already had a few stories up of people volunteering and giving us really nice stories. We'd love to see more exciting, kind stories and spread the movement in Singapore and beyond. So let's all, help each other and get through this special period. Thank you all.
Do you want to say anything? Hello?
Do you want to? Yeah, I'll say a few things maybe after you maybe.
Let me stand next to you, Yan Lu,
Okay, thank you.
as you say a few things.
Okay.
And then I'll say a few things.
You say a few things.
Yes.
Okay. Should you go first?
You go first.
I go first.
You go first.
I go first. Okay. Well, I think Trish really thank a special group of people. There are a few more groups that we like to thank tonight. Yeah, of course, the folks from Future Ready Asia, right? Delang and Liano and the whole group, they're all here. And, it touched my heart that they're doing this for us. And for a very meaningful event. Of course, we want to thank the people at ARC Spaces, Nim and his team for supporting this event. Hasn't been easy. I know. He said, yep. But, but it's turning out really, really good. And, I think we have about 35 people here and over 100 people registered on webinar. So a very successful event and a hybrid one of that, not easy to pull off. Third group, I want to thank, of course, the volunteers of AIM. There's up to late last year, AIM was 100% run by volunteers, 100%. That includes me. Yeah, so the volunteers they are the backbone, the lifeblood, what I call the wind beneath the wings of a nonprofit like AIM. There are many in the audience here. Can I just ask all of you to stand? Those that are been involved in all aspects of the organization, please stand. Lita, Dilip, 𝘋𝙧𝙧𝙀𝙧, Karen, of course, Trish. And it is all because of this team, and there are many others who have been involved, and especially with the Unicode as well. That AIM, I think, able to get AIM to where it is today. And we still have a long way to go, but I think we've done pretty well till now, haven't we? You all agree? Yeah. And of course, I want to thank this gorgeous young lady here, Anita, who's doing, what a wonderful, wonderful job moderating and very dynamic, just authentic as well. I really love that, how you pull this whole thing off.
Thank you very much.
And lastly, I want to thank all of you, those of you who are here with us tonight and also out there in the audience on the webinar for being, thank you for your presence. Thank you for your belief in AIM, and thank you for just being part of this community. Yeah, thank you all very much. Anita, give it back to you.
Thank you so much. And I'm just trying to maintain my 1 meter distance from you. It's nothing personal, I promise.
Nothing personal taken.
Thank you so much, Yan Lu, for that beautiful and warm closing for tonight. I just want to formally close the evening, and to all of our Zoom guests, thank you so much for staying with us tonight. And of course, to everybody in the room who has sat with rapt attention. I know that behind those masks that you have all smiles and satisfaction on your faces. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. You have been with us for the AIM 21 launch, and we hope that you've enjoyed all of these good conversations, the new information that we have shared, and that we've piqued your interest and, of course, your compassion and your kindness. And with that, we're going to close this night. And thank you so much for being with us. And please come and join us. Become a mentor, be a mentee, just get involved, because I think it's going to be something that changes your life. My name is Anita Kapoor. It's been an absolute pleasure to be your host tonight. Thank you. Thank you.